Welcome to First Chapter Fridays. For this week's edition, we will read the first chapter of Stuart Gibbs' Once Upon a Tim. So sit back, relax, and use your imagination as we read the first chapter of this book. Chapter 1. Who Am I? Once upon a time, there was a prince who was revered throughout the land for being exceptionally brave, who was known far and wide for his cool and calm presence in the face of grave danger, and who was beloved and adored by all the people of his kingdom. This is not his story. It's mine. I'm Tim. Come in a little closer so you can have a better look at me. You know how whenever you see a movie or read a story set in olden times, it's almost always about a dashing prince or a beautiful princess, and you're supposed to get all wrapped up in their troubles. Well, there are lots of other people who aren't prince or princesses, and trust me, we have way more problems than the rich folks do. We're called peasants, and being a peasant stinks. To start with, we're all really, really poor. See those clothes I'm wearing? Those are the only clothes I own. I've been wearing this same outfit for 2 years. And it was a hand-me-down from a cousin who wore it for 2 years before me. All the princes and princesses live in castles with hundreds of rooms. I live in a hut. See? You might be thinking to yourself, gosh, that looks awfully small, but it looks pretty cozy. Well, it's not. For example, look at the windows. Oh, that's right. You can't, because there aren't any windows. Peasants can't afford fancy stuff like glass, which means that any animal that wants to get into your house can do it. Flies, lice, raccoons, muskrats, wild boars, the occasional dragon. While I'm on the subject, here are a few other things we don't have. Air conditioning, heaters, refrigerators, televisions, internet, bathrooms. Yes, you heard that right. We don't have bathrooms. No showers, no sinks, no toilets. All right, I'll admit the princes and princesses don't have flush toilets either. But they at least have separate rooms to do their business and professional wipers to clean them afterward. But the worst part of being a peasant isn't really what we don't have. It's what we can't do. See, there's only one way to become a prince or a princess. You're born into it. That's it. No one can apply for a job as a royal family member. If you're a peasant boy like me, you basically have one option. Tim's family tree. Peasant, 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 Tim. My parents are peasants. So were their parents. and their parents before them. And so on, and so on, and so on, going all the way back as far as anyone can remember. Which, given that there aren't any history books readily available, is about 70 years. There's nothing you can do about it. Almost. It turns out there is only one way a peasant can change his lot in life. It isn't easy, though. In fact, it's extremely dangerous. Ridiculously, terribly, insanely dangerous. But if you're smart, brave, confident, trustworthy, honest, and if you don't die in the process, then you might be able to pull it off. I was willing to give it a shot because, like I said, being a peasant stinks. Okay, I'll admit, some people are content with peasantry, like my parents and all my uncles and aunts and all my distant cousins and most of my neighbors. But it just wasn't for me. So, this is the story of how I took that shot and how it led to the greatest adventure of my young life, along with plenty of danger and peril and treachery and doom. It's a good story, though, I promise. And there are some awesome pictures, too. So settle down, get cozy, maybe take a quick stop to use the bathroom with your flush toilet, you lucky duck, and I'll tell it to you right now. That concludes the first chapter of Once Upon a Tim by Stuart Gibbs. I hope you enjoyed this week's First Chapter Friday. Stop into the library to pick up the book to see how the story ends. Thank you for joining us for this week's edition. I hope you join us next time.